Shalom, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakwadash, and double honors to our elders and apostles of great millstone that taught us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful like Akim that's teaching and preaching this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Ak Wasap, and today's lesson is entitled Lessons from King Saul, Being Impatient. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, which are the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. And as always, the sit-downs, the lessons, the street speaking is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel of the Most High, and to you is the gospel preached. So today we'll be going into a lesson that we learned from King Saul while he was being impatient. While we're in the walk, while we're in this walk serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we're going to be faced with all types of trials and tribulations. All right, things that's going to vex us, things that's going to try to, shift our focus from the faith. All right. And with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding the spirit, we have the recipe to endure to the end. All right. Because we've been called, but we have to endure all the different trials and tribulations that we experience in this truth, the temptations. All right. Ultimately bearing our cross. All right. And hey, shalom, 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 shalom. And to bear our cross in this faith, Salaki Akin. We have to bear our cross so we can be faced with a lot of different things. Scriptures speak about, adversaries being of our family. You know what I'm saying? Us suffering persecution, us dealing with, things all while keeping this truth in the forefront. So I have this passage from Bible Believers. And it's a quick little read, and it's going into 1 Samuel chapter 13, verses 1 through 14. So it says this lesson, and then once again, it's entitled Lessons from King Saul, Being Impatient. Matter of fact, let me get a precept, and then we're going to go into that real quick. We're going to start over here in Romans 15. For it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So when we read these different accounts in the scripts in regards to these events or situations our forefathers dealt with, we see what to do and what not to do. All right. So the things that are written aforetime, the things that's in the scripts, is written for our learning. We're supposed to learn from these things. It says that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. So while we learning the different things that's written in the scripts, it'll produce patience. It'll give us comfort, which will enable hope. All right. Once again, you don't just read these scriptures and, think that, oh, well, that was just King Saul, or, that was, the prophet Samuel, or that was Samson, or, that was Jonathan. You don't just look over those things. We can learn things from these men that we read about in the scripts. So now when we go back here to this passage, it says this lesson will deal with the impatience of Saul and how it led him to commit a terrible sin that eventually cost him the kingdom. And while we're going through our trials and tribulations, let's get this in Ecclesiastes 2:1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, you over here pushing this truth, you out there on the highways and the byways, you do your lessons during the week. And it's not just being out there on the highways and the byways and then doing these lessons. It's deeper than that. You are an Israelite on and off the camera. It's things that go on that's off the camera as far as our walk in this faith that we have to deal with, man. All while continually pushing the truth. All right. So you gotta, as it says here, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul from temptation. The soul is your spirit. All right. Prepare meaning get ready. What is temptation? Trials and tribulations. And set thy heart aright and constantly enduring. As I was mentioning earlier, it's about enduring. A lot of brothers are dealing with all types of things. Every brother have a different lot that they're walking in. So, your situation that you dealing with could be polar opposite from the situation another brother is dealing with. But whatever, state you're in, you have to constantly endure. And as it says here, make not haste in the time of trouble. So we're going to see what happened with King Saul when he made haste. It says this lesson will deal with the impatience of Saul and how it led him to commit a terrible sin that will eventually cost him the kingdom. All right, and we're all striving to enter into the kingdom of heaven, which is rulership of the Israelites, starting off with our Lord Yahushua in the earth. So, Satan will, bring certain adversity in your life to produce this spirit of being impatient, which will lead to a terrible sin. Okay. It says patience is a very hard thing for us to have, especially in the world that we live in. That's absolutely right. Just look at the food industry. You hungry, you can go right down the street and get food within 5 minutes. In the ancient world, you had to go, if you were eating meat that day, because we didn't eat meat every day. You would have to go get you a lamb, a ram, a deer, a goat, a calf, a bull, whatever, a chicken, and then you gotta slaughter it, you gotta dress, you gotta skin it, dress it, prep it, season it, marinate it, and that's after you chop up the body, so you talking about an all day thing, which, that practice in itself will produce patience, and see in this world, with Esau, Edom ruling, which is the so-called white man, everything is quick, fast, in a hurry. Like I said, fast food, you got the quick internet, you got these damn cars, everything is just fast and at your fingertips, and it produces the spirit of being impatient. Go to the grocery store. As soon as a line is moving slow, you feel the energy, you feel the tension, traffic, you feel the energy, you feel the tension, you feel the spirits. So as it says here, patience is a very hard thing for us to have, especially in the world that we live in today. Nevertheless, it is essential. What is essential? Essential is absolutely necessary, extremely important, crucial. So it is crucial or extremely important if we are going to serve the Most High and follow his commands, his instructions. All right, and as we were reading in Ecclesiastes, the second chapter, which this chapter, Ecclesiastes, the second chapter, this is the blueprint on how to bear your cross in the faith. This is how you follow after the Lord Yahushua. Ecclesiastes, the second chapter. This is a chapter that you want to periodically read. It says in the passage of this lesson, Saul is reigning for 2 years. He and his army divided between him and his son Jonathan. And Jonathan and his men smote a garrison of the Philistines in Gibeah. When the rest of the Philistines heard of it, they brought an army up to defeat Israel. So as Jonathan, which is Saul's son, and he was a mighty man, a man of war, he went and smote the Philistines. The Philistines heard about it. They rounded up their bands, all right, their army, and they came to, to want to come fight against us, to come fight against Israel. It says the army they brought was a very large and powerful army. It is considered 30,000 chariots, 6,000 horsemen, and people that were as the sand of the sea. So it's abundance of people, right? So just imagine that. Here it is, your son, then defeated these damn Philistines, which was one of our arch enemies. And then now here that they come to try to come and defeat us in large numbers. 30,000 chariots, 6,000 horsemen, are in the people as the sand of the sea. So you can imagine fear was on everybody. It says, as a result of the approaching Philistine army, the people of Israel panicked. Oh, what are we going to do? What the fuck? How are we going to get out of it? How are we going to get out of this? It says, and many deserted Paul. All right. And desert meaning abandoned. They left Paul. They left Saul, Salakia. It says Saul tarried 7 days because Samuel was supposed to come, but when he did not show, Saul got impatient and offered to sacrifice himself because the prophet Samuel, he was a Levite. He was coming to offer up the sacrifices for King Saul, but seeing that the army, was headed their way and men was abandoning Saul, from King Saul's position, he was in straits. All while waiting 7 days for Samuel to come. Like, where is Samuel at, man? We need to sacrifice, man. These Philistines is coming. People is abandoning me, you know? And when we run parallels to this in our lives, there's situations that we go through where certain dangers, certain troubles, certain fears come upon us, and we have to wait a particular time, you know? We have to wait a certain amount of time, and we have to be patient. We have to endure. And while you're in that waiting period, hey, things may not be looking like it's working out in your favor, you know, but it's a trial of your faith. Hey, the Lord can come through and do anything at the drop of a moment for us. But a lot of things that we go through is to build us up and for us to learn through the experiences. All right. Because, hey, if you're praying for faith, you're praying for endurance, well, you have to go through these situations or scenarios so that that faith and that spirit of endurance can increase for you. You can't just be sitting on the couch and ain't nothing happening and you think you finna have an abundance of faith and endurance. So once again, as we reading this backstory on what happened with King Saul when he got impatient after his son Jonathan went and smote the Philistines, and the Philistines wanted to bring their army back to defeat Israel, we see King Saul is in the spirit of being impatient. He's waiting for Samuel to come. All right, so it says Saul tarried 7 days because Samuel was supposed to come, but when he did not show, Saul got impatient and offered the sacrifices. And we don't want to be like that. All right. Here it is. We in a position of difficulty. We experiencing trouble. We being brought to a lower state. And it's like we're trying to hurry up and find a solution, find a fix. And sometimes the solution is to be patient, to sit still and wait, be in a fire. Walk on that water like Apostle Peter did and wait and see what the Lord will tell you. And this message is to me first. It says, then as soon as he had made the offering, Samuel showed up. Here it is. The very thing that King Saul was waiting on. It came, but after he made a terrible mistake. Right? If King Saul would have sat still and just waited. And from my experience, I'm learning that right when it's getting tough, your hardest point, when you feeling like you finna break, that's when the transition is finna happen. When you getting in that position, oh man, come on. The transition is gonna come. You right there, you just gotta just endure a little longer. Keep the faith, It says, Saul's impatience led him to make a terrible mistake. And we don't want to be making terrible mistakes, man, right now, especially if we, been having through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, a pattern of good works. And we've been, constantly, reading these scripts. Because, hey, you can't turn your back on Yahweh Shemel Shai. You got too many precepts. You got the spirit in you, We have these accounts of how our forefathers fell, being impatient. And with a lot of people dealing with financial insecurities and different things in this society, economically, Esau wants a lot of people in this spirit. Because these ruling class elites, the Edomites, and when we speak about the Edomites, we're talking about the nobles, the upper echelon. They know these stories. We need to get the people to be in the spirit of being impatient, because we know if they're impatient, they will make terrible mistakes. It's in their history. They know that. But see, we know the history as well. And when we see how our forefathers fell, and we know what to do to avoid that. All right. The solution for King Saul was patience. Just waiting. It wasn't nothing physically King Saul could do. We're going to be in these situations when we going through our trials and tribulations, our temptations, or carrying our burdens, carrying our cross, however you want to word it. We're going to be in these situations where we're going to have to use extreme patience. We're going to be in situations where it's nothing that we can physically do. I mean, it's something that you can do, but you'll be doing something to make a terrible mistake. Some situations we just got to pray, believe, you know, keep the faith, keep your program going, teaching, however do your run your program as far as edifying the sheep, keep that momentum going because that's going to keep you in the spirit. See, when you impatient, that's the perfect time for the spiritual demon Satan to put all these thoughts, all these perverse thoughts, all these wicked thoughts, which when you in the spirit of being impatient, all them thoughts make sense. Oh man, that do make sense. I could do that. Because hey, we're looking for a solution. We want the comfort. But sometimes the comfort and the solution is to just stand still. So it says Saul's impatience led him to make a terrible mistake. If we are not careful, we will make the same mistakes that Saul made and let impatience get us in trouble. All right, beautiful lesson. Now you can read 1 Samuel chapter 13, verses 1 through 14, but this little summary, pretty much hit the points right there, man. All right, so let's get back over here in Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter. I'm gonna hit the first verse again. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, you over here presenting your body as a living sacrifice, you teaching and preaching, you're pushing the vibration of truth. You got to ready yourself for trials and tribulations, or prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright." How do you set your heart aright? You got to be in this, you got to be reading, honestly. All right. Because the spiritual demon Satan, he deals in the flesh. As we're in the spirit, the flesh is getting pushed back. As we in the flesh, the spirit takes the back seat. So you got to pick what fight you want to, fight. You know what I'm saying? So it says, set thy heart aright. How you get your mind right? Well, you get in the truth. This is Psalm 119. Because all the answers are in the scripts. This is Psalm 119 and 9. It says, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way?" How you get how you basically get your, as it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 2, set thy heart aright. How shall a young man set his heart aright? Or how shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. You got to take heed. All right, let's go into this word, take heed. Goes back to the Hebrew word shamar. That's the shah, the ma, the ra, shamar. To keep. All right. Guard, observe, give heed, or pay attention. All right. So you got to keep. You got to keep this word, basically. And what does the word tell us when we're going through trials and tribulations? It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. King Saul did that, and we seen the fruit of it. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. See, when we finish going through whatever trials and tribulations that we're going through, we want to be increased. We want the blessing. We want the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, out of it. We want the experience out of it, because there's going to be other bros that go through the same thing that you go through. And when those bros are going through it, you can be a beacon of light for them through the spirit. You can, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you can give a brother counsel. You can show him what you did, inform him on how you had to be patient, and how you had to stand still. It was nothing I could do. I was at the mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I had to just wait. And then that will produce faith in another brother, because brothers have different measurements of faith. Some brothers got, strong faith, mighty faith, and some brothers got, a little faith. So our Lord Yahushua spoke about having the faith of the size of a grain of a mustard seed. It says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." Now you see this word patience coming up. Patient. Haste meaning impatient. Let's go over here to Proverbs real quick. 14 and 29. It says, "He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding." Man, it's one thing to, when you out there on the highways and the byways, oh, give me this precept, give me that precept. You sound good on the camera. You look good on the camera. People that's on the other side of the camera, they, ooh, wow, how you know all this? But hey, when you going through situations that will cause you to be wrathful, you got to remember these precepts, man. You got to remember these things, because this is where the spiritual demon Satan is able to work. When you in this spirit of wrath, it says, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding. Why? Because he knows that he have to go through things. He has to go through temptations. He has to go through trouble. You know, he has to go through low estates. All right. He has to be tried in the fire. Right. He has to experience adversity. Right. Proverbs 14:29 says, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding. Here's the point. But he that's hasty of spirit exalted folly. You end up doing some stupid shit, man, when you in that hasty spirit. And we see it with King Saul. Him being in that hasty spirit cost him the kingdom. Now, we don't want to be in that spirit, because we don't want our actions to cost us the kingdom. Put us in a situation where, you're not able to serve the Lord no more. You know what I'm saying? That's dangerous. So this word hasty goes back to the Hebrew word qua tazar. That's the qua tazar ra. Qua tazar. Impatient. Short-tempered. All right. He that is hasty of spirit exalted folly. Let's go into this word folly. And this is the Blue Letter Bible, by the way, which allows you to go into the languages that the Bible was translated from to get a deeper understanding on what's written. So folly is awalath. That's the the wa, the la. Awalath, yeah. The wa, the la, the tha. Awalath. Foolishness. You end up doing some stupid shit, silliness, right? Like I said, through the spirit, of course. Some situations, the Lord will give us knowledge, wisdom, understanding to, do this and that. Some situations, we're just clearly at the mercy of the Most High. There's nothing that we can do. We just got to wait and see, Or the Lord will have you go through things for a certain amount of time. 7 days, 10 days, a month. However long the Lord wants you to go through a particular trial. And while you're going through that, you cannot be hasty of spirit. You can't take matters because the reason why you would be hasty of spirit is because you didn't took matters into your own hands to get you, salvation. Because the Lord don't want us to be in them situations. Oh, well, I was able to, man, I had to do this. I had to do this. Oh, well, when that happened, I had to get into it. And nah, man, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. There's situations that we're going to go through that it was only the Heavenly Father that did it. Straight miracle. And I've seen it happen to brothers, man. I've seen the Lord come through. I done seen the Lord come through for bros. Bro, the bro ain't went through his trial yet. The Most High had a particular thing happen to another brother. He came across some extra money like a day or two before, like on a Friday. A brother was up, a certain amount of money on a Friday. Brother was in straits on a Saturday or a Sunday. And, that brother was able to come through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for the brother that experienced that trial and tribulation, and the Lord came through for him. So I've seen the work of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. I've seen situations where it's like, there's no way, like an asked out situation where it's like, damn, there's nothing that we can do. And I've seen the Lord reverse things, man. I'm talking about an Esau system, So the Lord does miracles. He does show up. But in order to be eligible for that type of benefit, when you go through things, you got to be patient. You got to wait. You got to stand still. All while everything is crashing down, like the parable of the foundation, you know, where it speaks about, I'm not going to get it, but it speaks about a man setting his foundation upon a rock versus a man setting his foundation upon sand. Now, the man that had his foundation that was on a rock, which is Yahushua, which is, come in the volume of the book, this information is truth. When the winds and when the rain beat upon the house, what's the winds and the rain? Your trials and tribulations. It said that the house stood. It was immovable, but the house that was built upon sand, when the wind and the flood and the waters came, it's basically got swept away. And 9 times out of 10, it got swept away because he didn't believe, he didn't set his foundation upon Yahushua. And when he experienced trouble, because everybody experienced trouble, it's just not us in the truth. But the difference between us and the truth versus the individuals in the world, when we go through things, the Lord will command deliverance for Jacob, or for the elect of Jacob, should I say. This is Ecclesiastes 33:1. There shall no evil happen unto him that fear the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver him. So when we go through our trials and tribulations, like we're reading in Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter, there's a deliverance for us. But to get that deliverance, we got to constantly endure. So I'm not going to drag it out, man. Just want to go into that brief summary of 1 Samuel 13:1 and 14, going into King Saul being impatient, and we see that cost him the kingdom. Why? Because he made a terrible mistake. His instructions was to wait for the prophet Samuel to come to do the sacrifice. But he went and did the sacrifice himself, and as soon as he was done, the prophet Samuel rolled up. And I know King Saul was down in the spirit, man, but hey, it was the Lord's will. So we learn from those things and we apply it to our walk. And we learn. Here goes some couple of precepts too. They got Luke 8:15. Fruit is brought forth with patience. That's true. When you farming, man, and planting seeds, you gotta have patience. Tribulation worketh patience. Romans 5:3. And these is probably like parts of the precept. Tribulation worketh patience. When you're going through shit, you gotta work patience. 1 Timothy 6:11. And Akim, you can, look these up. Follow after patience. James 1, verses 3 and 4. The trying of your faith worketh patience. All right, have patience. And this message is to me first. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth. Stay strong, Akim. Have patience. Shalom.